Ladies and gentlemen, the most honest flat earther in the world.
I don't understand gravitational forces. I need to go back to school.
Don't be too hard on yourself. Anyway, today's video is going to start off with a new segment where I get a flat earther to teach me some science. Today it's the turn of YouTube flat earther, that guy. So roll the intro.
We're here to explain science. Mass is identical to weight, but this weight is space weight. We know we have frequency in the atmosphere. I don't need to do the fucking calculations and use real math, do I?
Science.
Okay, I'm ready to learn. That guy, what are you going to teach me today?
Density and volume is all you need to have weight.
Okay, no gravity needed for weight. But what if a globe believer comes up to me and asks me what weight actually is? Because they always talk about gravity pulling down on a mass to give us weight. So, as a flat earther, how am I going to describe what weight is without using gravity?
Weight is a product of existing, depending on your density, that will determine your weight.
Okay. So just put the word weight in a sentence and it doesn't matter what the other words are.
Just the way it is. Why does the sun rise in the west and set in the east?
But the sun doesn't rise in the west. Anyway, what if they ask me about gravity? Because when they ask me about gravity, I know they're going to bring up the Cavendish experiment where two lead balls were shown to attract each other because of their mass. They always bring up that when they're talking about gravity. How can I dismiss the Cavendish experiment?
The Cavendish experiment was lead balls attracting lead balls. That's not science. That just means lead can attract lead.
Okay, so magic lead. I think I'm going to be good at this. So what other questions should I prepare myself for? What is the kind of question that everybody always asks you?
Here's the question everybody asks. Why did that pen fall? Why is this pen falling?
Yes, great question. Because everybody always say, if I drop something and it falls due to density alone, then given the fact that the air around the pencil is the same density in all directions, why does it always fall downwards? What is it that provides that directional influence? They always ask that. So go on, if a globe believer comes up to me and asks me why things fall, what should I say?
Objects fall because an outside force picked them up and dropped them.
I'm going to be honest, man, that's not really the detail I was hoping for. Let me just ask again. If I drop something and the air around it is equally dense, or if I go far enough, it's actually less dense above the pencil than below it, why is there a directional influence? Why does it fall downwards every single time and not any other direction if density differences is the only reason for something to fall? Can you be a bit more specific?
Why does it fall down? Because down is down and up is up. Gravity damn sure doesn't explain this.
Right, well, thanks for your help. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Learn Science with that guy.
We're here to explain science.
So when I was putting that clip together, there was loads of little segments I really wanted to include, but the one that just reeked of irony the most is this one.
Thanks to Newton, we know the laws of motion.
Yeah, so the man who's on the internet claiming gravity doesn't exist is actually appealing to Isaac Newton to help validate his claims.
You have mail.
I better get that.
Hello, my name is Britney Spears. Anyway, I just want to ask, why is still no one hammering Eric Dubay?
No pun intended.
You only seem to go after the stupid people. Like me.
Alright then, I promise, by the end of this video, I will have corrected Eric Dubay, I'll have done some science, and I might even have got my whiteboard out. Yes. But before any of that, let's see what's been going on in the Flat Earth community this week. Starting off with a trip to Del's bar. Now, if you don't know Del, how can I describe him? He's a little bit, well, like this.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Only with a lot of this thrown in.
People like you, sonny boy, are fucked.
So now we're in the summer holidays, Shed Rage High is closed and Del has turned his shed into Del's bar. So let's bob over to Del's bar and see who he's been arguing with this week. Sometimes you wanna go where everybody calls you a
Utter useless moron.
and everybody knows your name.
Conspiracy cats.
You wanna go where people tell you the earth is flat.
Again.
Do 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 do.
Gravity accelerates things at 9.8 metres per second squared. No, show me anywhere in practical reality where you can accelerate something with a pull. The force known as pull. Is there going to assert? You'll never find it. It doesn't exist.
So this week, Del has decided that we can't use the term pull when we're talking about forces, because we often refer to gravity as a pulling force. So if we don't say the word pull, that means that things don't actually fall towards the ground. Now, it is all a bit of semantics. We do know that non-contact forces will bring objects together. And that isn't going to be changed whether you describe something as a pull or a push. But anyway, it seems like a few beers and a bit of high IQ research later, Del's changed his mind.
You open a drawer and you pull.
Now, I think that might be my favourite Del clip of all time. What do you think, buddy? Del? Del?
Fuck you.
Oh, come on, don't be like that, man. You're going to embarrass me in front of these guys. Anyway, I was really curious to see what other people thought of Del's idea that we can't use the term pull when we're representing a force. So I turned to the power of the internet.
Okay, so Conspiracy Catz has the question. He would like to know, can a pull be a force?
Well?
Can a pull be a force? I think a pull is definitely a force. What is a vacuum?
For the billionth time, vacuums don't suck. You're as bad as that guy.
These vacuums are very, very strong. If you put that vacuum chamber to 10 to the negative 6 torr and poked a hole this big, it would suck a human body through there.
Anyway, in other news, Robbie Davidson, the founder of the Flat Earth International Conference, has heard Oscar's version of my P1000 globe-proving song. And he loves it.
Ranty, proves the globe, he proves the globe. He's a great globe prover.
And that's the end of that. Time for some science.
Hello, my name is Hall Parrot, and I've just popped by to say I don't know who I find more annoying, you or Simon Dan. Anyway, why don't you ever take on videos by Eric Dubay? I love him loads. He's always right, you're always wrong. You can't take on Eric Dubay. I challenge you. Go on, do it.
Now, I have previously said I don't like listening to Eric Dubay videos because they make about as much sense as a astronomy lecture from Ranty Flat Earth.
What appears to be a second moon behind the full moon.
But seeing how I was asked this time, I decided to make an exception, and I checked out one of his videos on the cause of the tides. Now, I was absolutely gobsmacked how Eric Dubay seemed to make himself more and more confused as he went through the video. Let's check out the first clip.
Newton theorized, and it is now commonly taught, that the Earth's ocean tides are caused by gravitational lunar attraction. If the moon is only 2,160 miles in diameter, and the Earth 8,000 miles, however, using their own math and law, it follows that the Earth is 87 times more massive, and therefore the larger object should attract the smaller to it, and not the other way around.
Now, I can understand that confusion. I can understand how somebody who's never learnt about gravity would imagine that the Earth should have such a strong pull over the oceans that the moon wouldn't be able to affect it. And I can kind of understand this point.
If ocean tides are caused by the moon's gravitation, how is it that lakes, ponds, and other smaller bodies of standing water remain outside the moon's grasp, while the gigantic oceans are so affected?
But I could live to be 1,000 years old, and I will never understand where the hell he got this from.
Tides are caused by the gentle and gradual rise and fall of the Earth on the bosom of the mighty deep.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
In fact, I was so gobsmacked by that clip, I needed to share it with other people.
Are the tides caused by the rise and fall of the Earth in the bosom of the mighty deep space? Come on. Wow, the conspiracy cat. I like it. I like it.
And this guy couldn't even finish reading it. It makes that little sense.
Whoa, wait a second. What? Are the tides caused by the rise and fall of the Earth on the... You lost me. You lost me.
But my favourite response has to be from this guy here, who gives it the complete ridicule it deserves.
What did he say?
And just ignore it, man.
I'm sorry, I gotta read this, man. The conspiracy cat. Where'd you come from? I gotta know this, man. Where'd you come from, my man?
So I guess it's time that I did something vaguely scientific, and I'm going to see if I can explain the cause of the tides to you in 45 seconds or less. There is a more detailed video I've linked in the description on the Baldy Catz channel where I spend about 10 minutes talking about it. I want to thank Jen Morgan for the graphic for Del's Bar. I really appreciate that. The second half of this video will be coming out tomorrow or the day after. The video would have been about 25 minutes if I'd have put it all together, and I didn't want to bore you. So the second half should be done soon. That'll have all the chat box travels, the comments, etc. So, can I explain the tides in 45 seconds or less? Here we go. Here is the moon, here is the earth. Now the earth experiences a gravitational pull from the moon which is greater on this side than it is in the centre or on this side. And what that means is the water on the right hand side is accelerating greater than the centre of the earth, which is accelerating greater than the water on the left hand side. And some people think that this is the reason for the two bulges which cause the tide, but it's only partially the reason. You see, the Earth's own gravitational pull is accelerating all the water towards the centre of the Earth. And the combination of those accelerations means that the water in the north and south, as you can see on this picture, actually wants to move in this direction. But it can't move in that direction because the Earth itself is also experiencing that acceleration towards the moon. And what that actually causes is a pressure in the northern and southern hemisphere that helps contribute to that tidal bulge. Now, I don't know if I've explained that in 45 seconds. If I wasn't very clear, do check out the link on the Baldy Catz channel where it's broken down step by step. Thanks for watching, and keep your eye out for the Chatbox Travels video coming up very soon.
Catz, conspiracy cats. No one quite liking to flatten the flats, so come feel the vibe. Like and subscribe, and take off your hats to conspiracy.